My dear students, we are meeting again. I am Dr. Majumdar from Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology, Pharmacy Institute, Greater Noida. Now, today we will be starting the last and one of the most important area of your subject of pharmaceutical marketing management, which is generally offered as an elective for your B.Pharm course. Now, today we will be in our class, we will be studying about the main aspect of pricing. As we know that in marketing mix, there are 4 P's. As all of us know, there are 4 P's of marketing. One was product, place, promotion, and the last one was pricing. Today, we will be studying on this aspect of pricing. In the previous classes, we have discussed about the other 3 P's, about how to design a product, what should be the minimum quality of a product. Then we have discussed about the place where to launch, whether the product is intended for the rural people or it is for the urban people or it is for the mass in general, the area where you will be selecting for launching of your product. Then we discussed about promotion. In promotion, we discussed about advertisement, publicity and other sales promotional measures. Now, today we will be discussing about pricing. This is the last unit of your syllabus. Now, before I start, let us define what pricing basically is. Pricing is the way to determine the value a producer will get in terms of exchange of goods and services. As I have told you in the last class that it is a two-way flow. In one side we are having the producer or the manufacturer, and the other side we have the buyers. Now, the goods are transferred from the producer to the buyer, and in terms of goods the buyers returned in terms of price. Therefore, pricing is a way to determine the value of a product, or in other terms the value which a manufacturer gets in exchange of his goods and services. Price is one element of marketing that produces the revenue. As we know that whenever we want to run an organization, we require revenue, and it is this pricing, the value of the product, which provides the revenue. The other elements of marketing is the cost. So, whatever cost we incur, depending on the cost of the product, depending on the other allowances, we have to fix the final price. Now, regarding the way by which prices are fixed, we will be discussing it later on. Prices are the easiest element of marketing to adjust. The product features, channels, communications are very difficult to be changed, very difficult to be adjusted. But if we want to capture the market, it is the only parameter which you can manipulate or which you can alter. Say for example, we want to enter into a pre-existing market where there are a large number of competitors. What we do? There are 2 ways of doing it. One, we can keep the price a bit lower than the price of the competitor's product, so that the end user or the decision makers about the buying process can take a decision that okay, this is the product which is available at a lower cost of almost the same quality, they will try to opt for it. That is, lowering of price can be done to attract or lure the customers. On the other hand, if the product is a very premium product, where you are intending the product for the high income group, In that case, what we do is we keep the price a bit higher. Till today, there are some group of customers who are having an idea about more higher the price is, more better the quality is. So, they will think, they will have the impression in the mind that as because the price is more, the quality should be good, and they will try to purchase your product. So, price is the easiest element of marketing which can be adjustable. But the final motto is the right price must be there, and the right price depends on a number of factors. The number of factors depending on the nature of the market, the demand and supply conditions of the market, what are the competitors or to what extent the competition exists in the market. All these are the parameters which governs the price. So, price is the value that a customer gives up or exchange to obtain a desired product. Price may be in the form of money, it may be in the form of goods, service, favors, votes, or anything else that has value to the other party. That is, you are getting an item, you are getting a product, you are getting a service from a people, and in return you are giving him something. It may be in the form of a favor, it may be in the form of goods, it may be in the form of money, it may be in the form of some other service which you are returning back. So, pricing is a managerial task that involves establishing the pricing objectives, identifying the factors governing the price, and ascertaining their relevance and significance. So, determining the products and service in a monetary terms and formulation of the pricing strategies and policies. Once the strategies and policies are framed or formulated, depending on the parameter which I just now discussed, then that is to be implemented. And whenever we are trying to implement it, depending on the feedback, depending on the scenario of the market, depending on the competition, depending on the product, depending on the response of the customer, you need to control them to have the maximum best possible result. So, let me repeat it once again. Pricing is a managerial task that involves establishing pricing objectives, identifying the factors governing the price, that is, they need to identify what are the factors, what are the parameters which will govern the price, and then ascertaining the relevance and significance, finally determining the product value in terms of money. And once it is decided that this much amount has to be charged, and then they have to develop a pricing policy and strategy, finally leading to the process of implementation. Let us see what are the factors or what are the points which we consider whenever we are determining the pricing of a product. The first is the nature of the product. This is a very important factor. Depending on the nature of the product, you need to fix the price, because price of gold and the price of a pen can never be same. So, depending on what type of product you are trying to market, your pricing will depend. Now, whenever you are, say for example, you are determining the price of this pen, you have to compare the price which you are about to fix with similar other companies' pen which are already existing in the market. So, the next factor to be considered is price of similar product. You have to see, you have to do a market survey, market research has to be done to see what are the prices of the other company's product. Next, you have to go for the target audience. Who are your people whom you target? Who are your ultimate buyers? What is their buying capacity? Where are they located? All these factors need to be considered whenever you are going for this third factor for target audience. The next important factor what we have to judge on is the cost of production. You cannot go to a price which is less than your production cost, because you cannot do a charity in the market. what you have to do is you have to first of all decide what is your production cost. Now, this production cost in turn depends on a number of factors. What are they? First is the labor cost. What is the salary? What is the money which you are investing in terms of the labor whenever you are converting it to the raw material to the final product? So, the second point is the cost of raw material. How much amount of raw material you require? What is the cost of the product? What is the cost of the raw material which you get from the suppliers of the raw material? All these factors have to be taken care of. Third factor is the machinery cost. Machinery cost, whenever you are using, whenever you are preparing any preparation, whenever you are preparing any item, you are taking the help of a machine. That machine regularly undergoes depreciation. So, see, if a machine life is around 10 years, you have to adjust the cost of the machine along the 10-year span. So, machinery cost has to also to be taken care of. The other cost includes the inventory cost, the cost of transporting it from the point of production to the point of purchase. So, in turn, all this cost of production includes, we should write as direct material plus direct labor plus factory overhead. This factory overhead already includes the machinery cost, inventory cost and transit cost. All this will come under this heading of factory overhead. The other factors which need to be considered are the economy of the country, the policy of the various regulatory bodies and the government. All legal issues has to be taken care of whenever we are deciding the price of a product. My dear students, please keep in mind that whenever you are fixing a price of a product as a marketing manager or as a product manager, you need to consider one and each nature of the product, price of the product, the audience for whom you are targeting, the cost of your production and the external factors, economy, the government policies and the legal issues. The pricing objectives, basically, as we know, why we fix up a price. At the end of the day, we have to win the competition, we have to win the customer satisfaction, you have to earn certain profit. That is the reason why we have to determine the price in a most judicial way. So, the pricing objectives are the sales or market share you have to gain. Obviously, at the end of the day, the profit becomes very important. You cannot run a company for a loss for a long period of time. You cannot, it is not possible for any investor, nobody will invest in your organization. Competitive effect objective, you have to overcome the competition. At the same time, the customer needs to be satisfied, because unless you are in a position to satisfy your customer base, unless you are in a position to generate a loyal customers, you will not be in a position to exist in the market. And finally, the last objective is the social responsibility, that is the image enhancement has to be done. So, these are the major objectives of pricing. Let us discuss one by one. The company first decide where it wants to position its market offerings. The objective should be, I will discuss one by one later on. Let me just quickly go through it. The objectives are: number 1, survival; number 2, maximization of the current profit; number 3, maximization of the market share; number 4, a market skimming strategy; and finally, the product quality leadership. So, the first point is survival. Whenever we are launching a product, that product needs to be priced in such a way that a company must survive. The company, it should not be, if you are fixing up a product in a very irrational way, there is a chance that your company will be wiped out of the competition. Your company will not be accepted if your product is not proper, if the customers are not satisfied. automatically the preference of the customers for your product will be lost. So, the foremost objective is to set the price at such a level and help the product to survive in the market. Every individual firm faces a problem for the danger of getting ruled out from the market due to tremendous competition, the market being matured, or there is a change in the customer taste or preference. You need to upgrade your product at regular intervals. The price based on the fixed and variable cost incurred without addition of any profit margin. This is done just bare neck to neck, the cost of the product, price of the product. This is a strategy which is to be followed whenever the question of survival comes into picture. Remember, it is a short term till you have to adopt this strategy till the point you are in a position to grab the market, you are in a position to hold your position, hold in the market. The next objective, as I told you earlier, the second one was maximization of current profit. Many firms maximize profit by predicting the demand and supply in the market. Company adopts such price which ensures a larger profit. That is the reason why we are going for maximization of current profit. Next is higher the demand, higher is the price charged. Seasonal supply and demands of goods and services are very good examples. When the demand is more, but number of options available is less, in that case you can automatically increase your price, but it is not applicable for pharmaceutical sector, but it is for the non-pharmaceutical sectors mainly. So, in general, higher is the demand, higher is the price charged. The third one, capturing huge market share. This was the third objective of pricing. Many firms charge lower price just to captivate the greater market share. The price intentionally kept low initially just to have an increased sales volume. When the price is low, more and more customer will purchase your product, accordingly the sales volume will be more. This is what we are calling as economies of scale. Now, higher sales volume means you have to produce more and more product, and more product means lower will be the cost of production. Why? Because there are certain factors like the depreciation cost that will be spread across the number of products. So, unit cost of the product will be less. So, higher sales volume causes lower production cost and increased profitability in the long run, what we are calling as the market penetration strategy. It is used when the competition is intense and the customer are very sensitive to price. Next objective is market skimming strategy. Now, in that case, as I have told you, the term skimming, that is you have to go across, you have to put yourself above. So, higher price is charged by firms or product that are innovative in nature and they utilize the modern upgraded technology. If your product is a unique product, if your product is produced by innovative technology, in that case you have to charge a higher price. Higher price due to higher cost of production, say for example, the newer electronic gadgets and the mobiles, but gradually it will lower down across a period of time. Next is product quality leadership. Many firms keep the price of their goods and services in according to the quality as perceived by the customers. Customers are the best judge of their quality. Luxury goods create a higher quality, taste and status image in the mind of the customers, for which they are in a position to pay a very high price. If the product is a luxury goods, say for example, Mercedes-Benz, if I am talking of the automobile sector, Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, BMW, automatically they charge a very fantastic amount, because they know that they are having an impression in the mind of the customer about the high quality of their cars. So, pricing also communicates to the market the company's intended value positioning of its product or brand. The price is not just a number in a tag. It can come in the various forms like rent, tuition fees, fare, rates, tolls, wages and so on. There are three important concepts of pricing. One is the reference pricing, second one is the product quality inference, and third one is the price ending. So, let us discuss one by one. Reference pricing means A customer often compares the reference price as compared to the other competitor's product, other reference product. The consumers compare the observed price to an internal reference which they are having in their mind, or any external reference prices like regulatory retail prices. The next is price quality inferences. Many customers use price as an indicator of quality, as I have told you earlier. A bottle of perfume costing 5,000 rupees might actually contain the essence of only 500 rupees, but the gift givers pay 5,000 rupees to communicate their higher rigor to the receiver. They are in a position to pay a very high price. This is also considered as an exception to the law of demand, where the demand actually increases with the rise in the prices. Price queue. Researchers shown that many customers tend to process price from left to right. A stereo amplifier is priced at 2,999 instead of 3,000 just to have a psychological effect. Estimating cost. The demand cost set the ceiling of the price which cost to set the flow. Say for example, the price should be set in such a way that a company can recover at least the cost of production and distribution and sell in terms of the money, in terms of the fare which is coming in terms of return. Analyzing the competitors' cost. In this particular step, the companies set up their prices by considering the nearest competitors. They are trying to set the competitors of the nearest competitors. Now, if the company offers certain features which are not offered by any other competitor, then the company evaluates its worth, its value which they are providing to the customers, and accordingly they can charge a higher value as terms of customers, as terms of the competitors. The other pricing methods are markup pricing, target return pricing, value pricing, going rate pricing, and auction type pricing. The company must consider the following factors: the impact of other marketing activities. Number one, the customers are willing to pay higher for the product which are highly premium product. The quality of a product also impacts the price. The impact, let us see what are the impact of change in price, what are the impact of price on various parties. The impact not only depends, creates an impact on the customer, it also creates an impact on the distributors, dealers, competitors, suppliers, government. Pricing policy: select the pricing objective, determine the demand, estimate the cost, analyzing the competitors' cost, price and offers which the competitors are producing, and then determine the pricing method, and finally determine the price. The next task which we have to do is determine the demand. Each price will lead to a different level of demand and have that different impact on the company's marketing strategy. The company needs to consider two things: number one, the price sensitivity and the price elasticity. The demand refers to the customer's desire for the product. How much of a product do a customer wants? How will this change affect if the price is going down or the price is going up? Identify the demands for an entire product category in the market in terms of the company's market share. Next is price elasticity of demand. How sensitive are the customers to changes in the price of a product? Price elasticity is nothing but the measure of the sensitivity of the customers to the change in price. How far is your customers acceptable to the change in price? The price elasticity of the demand is expressed as a ratio between the percentage change in quantity demanded with the percentage change in price. What influences the price sensitivity? It depends on the shared cost, sunk investment, inventory effect, and items which are brought more frequently, they are more sensitive to changes in flight price, and the items which are purchased less frequently, they are less sensitive to the price change. What is price elasticity? The price this determines the change in the demand with change in price. If there is little or no change, we are calling it to be an inelastic one. If the change is significant, we are calling it to be a elastic process. There are few or no substitute, then we are calling it to be an elastic one. The buyers readily do not notice the higher price. Buyers are slow to change in price. Then we are talking of the demand curves, where you will be showing in there are two demand curves. One, demand increases as the price decreases, and there are some category where you will find that there are two segments where there is an increase in demand as the price decreases. Now, this is true for the prestige product, this is true for the normal product. This is the elastic and inelastic demand curve, where the price change causes a great change in the demand. This is the type of curve which we get, and inelastic demand, where the change in price do not create a significant change in the demand. That is what we are calling as the inelastic demand. Now, we are talking of the variable cost and fixed cost. Variable cost, we are talking of the per unit cost of production that will fluctuate depending on how many units it is produced. Fixed cost is they do not vary with the number of units produced. Cost remains the same regardless of the number of items produced. Finally, the total cost is the sum total of the variable cost as well as the fixed cost. Pricing strategy based on advantages. The advantages is simple to calculate, it is relatively risk free. Disadvantages, fail to consider several market factors like target market, demand, competition, product life cycle, product image. Difficult to accurately estimate the cost. Now, we will talk of break even analysis, the technique used to examine the relationship between the cost and price and to determine of what sales volume should be reached, must be reached at a given price before the company will completely cover its total cost. Here there are two factors. If it is going below this, we will tell that the company is running at a loss, and it should be above this, so that the company is running at a profit. And then see, at this point we are calling it as the break even point. With this, we are coming to the end of the class today. Thank you for your patient hearing.